When it comes to travel gear, especially for video, I'm always looking at the lightest and most convenient options that will still give me the quality that I want. That's why today I'm comparing the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II and the Osmo Pocket 3. I took both cameras on my recent trip to Italy to test them in real-world conditions and help you decide which might be the better fit for your needs. I won't cover every detail, but will focus on the key aspects that matter in practice. But for a deeper dive on the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II, check out my dedicated video on that camera on my channel. Before we dive in, a quick note. I personally purchased the Pocket 3 earlier this year and have used it extensively on several trips. The ZV-E10 on the other hand was generously supplied to me by my equipment partner Foto Köbel for my latest trip to Italy, and I'll return it after this review. Before we get into the most important part of the video, I briefly wanted to go over some of the general specs of the cameras. The Osmo Pocket 3 aims to be an all-in-one solution. A camera on a gimbal that comes with a compact carry case that also doubles as a filter holder. And there is the option to connect the DJI Mic 2 directly via Bluetooth with the camera. All in all, this is an incredibly convenient package that also comes with a few compromises, but more on that later on. The Pocket 3 features a 1-inch sensor shooting 4K up to 120 FPS and offers 10-bit color depth with the D-Log M profile. On the other hand, the ZV-E10 Mark II is a traditional interchangeable lens camera that also comes in a fairly compact package, but needs a few extras to match the Pocket 3's capabilities. It boasts a large APS-C sensor for better dynamic range and low light performance, and of course the ability to change lenses. And there's also an interesting directional microphone on top of the camera. The ZV-E10 tops out at 4K 60 FPS, but also supports 10-bit color recording and offers S-Log free. So both cameras cover the basic ground for travel. For my needs, I use 20 FPS for talking headshots and 50 FPS for B-roll, allowing for some slow motion. The Pocket 3 120 FPS is impressive but rarely necessary for me. On the other hand, the bigger sensor of the ZV-E10 Mark II really comes into play with dynamic range and noise performance. You get a much cleaner footage when shooting in dark conditions. For example, ISO 3200 is looking noticeably better here. And while the D-Log M profile offers some possibilities for color correction, the S-Log 3 on the ZV-E10 has a much bigger latitude if you want to adjust exposure or lift shadows. This is a big deal for me personally, since I enjoy grading my videos, but won't be as important if you're simply using the image straight out of the camera. Another clear advantage of the Sony is that you can fine-tune the camera to your needs. For example, if you're often shooting in low light conditions, you can add an f1.8 or even 1.4 lens and therefore further reduce issues with noise, whereas the Pocket 3 is stuck with its constant f2 aperture. When traveling, you want to capture smooth footage without extra gear like a gimbal or a tripod, and that's when these two cameras significantly differ. The ZV-E10 Mark II lacks in-body stabilization and therefore relies on Sony's dynamic active stabilization to smooth out handheld shots or even walking. But this is purely a digital stabilization that forces a heavy crop on your footage. Additionally, apart from the new kit lens and maybe some telephoto options, almost all Sony lenses do not come with OSS, so you're often be depending heavily on the digital stabilization. On the other hand, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 features a built-in 3-axis gimbal delivering impressively smooth footage straight out of the box. It's incredibly convenient. Just power it on and you get stable footage without worrying about your lens's capabilities or extra settings. And while Sony's dynamic active stabilization perform decently, especially for vlogging and walking shots, the OP3 wins hands down in this category. Not only are the results from the gimbal smoother and more predictable, but it offers additional features like the active track or motion lapse. That said, most of my shots tend to be rather static anyway, so the ZV-E10 Mark II with its OSS equipped kit lens has been sufficient for my use case. And the active stabilization is still great for the occasional gimbal-like shot. Just keep in mind that you will lose the wide angle capabilities of your lenses when using it. When it comes to audio, both cameras try to offer something unique. Personally, I use two types of audio recordings on my travels, capturing the ambience of the location and recording clear spoken audio. For environmental audio, both cameras perform equally well. The DJI Osmo Pocket 3 features 3 microphones built into the body, while the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II has a free capsule microphone on top. But when it comes to spoken audio, the Pocket 3 can be bought together with the DJI Mic 2 in the Creator combo, which I would highly recommend getting. Once connected, the Mark II will automatically connect with the camera via Bluetooth, eliminating the need of a receiver and providing excellent auto leveling for your sound. The built-in microphone of the Sony has an intelligent mode that detects the direction of which the sound is coming from and attempts to isolate it. However, for the best audio quality, proximity to the microphone is probably the most important factor. And here the DJI Mark II stays on you, ensuring consistent audio quality, while the ZV-E10 Mark II requires you to keep the camera close to your face for the best results. Okay, so here's a quick audio comparison of the inbuilt directional microphone of the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II and the DJI Mark II that comes with the creator combo of the Osmo Pocket 3 and connects directly via Bluetooth with the camera. And I think the microphone on the ZV-E10 does a good enough job to capture audio if you're really close to the camera or if you want to record environmental audio. But of course the main benefit of an external microphone of the Osmo Pocket 3 is that you can move further away from the camera and move more freely and still maintain good audio quality. While with the ZV-E10, if you move further away, the audio quality will fall apart quite fast and you won't get as clear audio anymore. As you can hear from this test, the Pocket 3 delivers superior audio, especially when you move further away from the camera. Of course, you can always add a better microphone to the ZV-E10, either via the Mic Jack or Sony's digital hot shoe, but this is an extra piece of kit that you need to buy and have dangling on your camera. And now that we covered the technical details, let's dive into the most crucial aspect, which is practical use. After all, if a camera isn't easy or enjoyable to use, you might end up leaving it at home or simply not using it at all. And I would say the Pocket 3 is simply an incredibly convenient camera to use. It's compact enough to fit into any bag or even your pocket. It offers built-in stabilization and excellent audio integration with DJI Mark II. Plus, switching between horizontal and vertical video is a breeze, which is really important to those of us that like to shoot for social media. However, if you're looking to take your video work more seriously or need more control over your footage, the Pocket 3 has its limitations. I originally purchased the ND filter set but have never really used it since it's quite cumbersome to constantly switch between filters. This really limits your ability to control your exposure and you will end up shooting really high shutter speeds most of the time. Next, the D-Log-M profile is relatively flat and without the possibility to apply a preview LUT, you're left with a washed out image on a really small screen, making it sometimes really hard to judge your footage. And the lack of any exposure guides like a histogram or zebras make it really hard to tell if something is overexposed. These limitations make the OP3 a bit frustrating to me in practical use when I want to have more control over my videos. In contrast, the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II is packed with all of Sony's latest features. I love that it is so customizable and that you have all the extra control elements such as LUT support, zebras, and enough buttons and dials to control your exposure and most of your important settings. This camera definitely allows for more professional results, though it does come with a steeper learning curve for beginners or those who don't want to mess around with settings too much. Despite being a bit larger than the OP3, it remains relatively lightweight and compact, and I wouldn't mind carrying it around all day. The main downside is its stabilization. While the active stabilization is effective and useful for the occasional smooth shot, it overall is a struggle to get smooth footage without any compromises. Yes, the kit lens has OSS, but I would want to upgrade that sooner rather than later, and then stabilization options become really limited. So which camera should you choose? Well, it really depends on your specific need and use case and whether you're looking for a primary camera or just an additional camera in your kit. Both the Osmo Pocket 3 and the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II offer unique advantages and are suited to different purposes. If you're primarily vlogging and need a camera that's easy to use for talking to the camera and throwing in a clip here and there, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is highly your best bet. Its compact size, built-in stabilization, and straightforward design and audio integration make it incredibly convenient for videos on the go. On the other hand, if you're looking for a more versatile camera with superior image quality and advanced features, the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II is the way to go. It's ideal for a variety of shooting scenarios, whether you're vlogging, capturing general footage, or using it in a studio scenario like this. Also, the ability to change lenses is a huge plus and gives you greater flexibility and creative control over your videos. But let me hear your opinion. Which camera do you prefer? Did you buy either of these cameras? And if so, what is your use case for it? Did I miss something or do you have any question regarding the features? Let me know down in the comments and I'll see you in the next one.